The Vietnam War was fought with some of the most revolutionary military weapons in history. From the distinctive crack of M16 rifles to the thunderous roar of AK-47s echoing through jungle canopies, these weapons defined a decade of brutal jungle warfare. Today we're breaking down the rifles, machine guns, and even a rocket launcher that shaped America's longest war, M16A1. M16A1 rifles are select-fire assault rifles that revolutionized American infantry tactics during the Vietnam War. United States soldiers, Marines, and South Vietnamese forces relied on these rifles when navigating dense jungle terrain and engaging elusive Viet Cong guerrillas throughout Southeast Asia. This rifle fires the .556 NATO cartridge that represented a revolutionary departure from traditional military ammunition thinking. Military planners had previously armed infantry with powerful, full-sized rifle cartridges like the .30-06, believing soldiers needed maximum range and penetration. But Vietnam's jungle warfare rarely involved shots beyond 300 yards, so heavy ammunition would limit how much troops could carry during extended movement. Infantry and special forces typically carried 300 to 400 rounds of 5.56 mm in their jungle combat loadouts, nearly double the ammo of heavier .30-06 rounds. The lightweight .556 round travels at over 3,000 feet per second and generates 1,300 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. The rifle weighed 33% less than previous infantry rifles at just 6.3 pounds unloaded and fired at 700 to 950 rounds per minute in full automatic mode, giving soldiers unprecedented firepower. Despite its smaller size compared to traditional rifle cartridges, the .556's decisive velocity advantage caused incapacitation through bullet fragmentation and yaw, delivering excellent terminal ballistics at jungle combat ranges. The rifle's select fire capability allowed soldiers to switch between precise semi-automatic shots for accuracy and full automatic bursts for suppressive fire. The M16A1 operates through direct gas impingement, where propellant gases travel directly back through a tube to cycle the bolt mechanism. Colt manufactured over 2 million M16 variants during the Vietnam era, with production ramping up dramatically after 1967 when reliability improvements, including chrome-plated chambers and better propellants, greatly reduced early problems. The M16's very same technology is present in modern NATO weapons today. SKS. SKS rifles are semi-automatic rifles that served as the evolutionary bridge between bolt-action rifles and modern assault weapons throughout the Vietnam conflict. North Vietnamese Army soldiers and Viet Cong fighters depended on these reliable weapons during the war's early phases, before AK-47s became widely available. This rifle fires the 7.62 x 39 mm cartridge, delivering over 1,500 foot-pounds of energy from its 20-inch barrel at 2,400 feet per second. The cartridge represented the same revolutionary intermediate concept that balanced power and controllability. But unlike later assault rifles, the SKS was designed as a precision semi-automatic weapon that emphasized accuracy over rapid fire. The rifle weighed 8.5 pounds, making it manageable for extended jungle patrols while providing robust construction needed for tropical warfare. North Vietnamese and Viet Cong fighters typically carried 200 to 300 rounds of 7.62 x 39 in their jungle combat loadouts, versus Americans and their allies with 300 to 400 rounds of .556 typical in their loadouts. Experienced shooters achieved 30 to 40 aimed rounds per minute, significantly faster than bolt-action rifles. The SKS operates through a short-stroke gas piston system with a tilting bolt mechanism that proved incredibly robust under harsh conditions. The weapon features a 10-round internal magazine loaded via stripper clips, representing transitional technology between manually operated rifles and detachable magazine systems. The Soviet Union manufactured approximately 4 million SKS rifles, while China produced over 10 million Type 56 carbines, their licensed version of the design. Interestingly, many Chinese versions were produced in bicycle factories and small machinery plants, demonstrating how communist nations converted civilian industry for military production. Despite lacking full automatic capability, the SKS provided communist forces with dependable semi-automatic firepower that proved devastatingly effective during Vietnam's guerrilla warfare phase. Many SKS rifles captured in Vietnam are still found in conflicts worldwide today, a testament to their enduring reliability. AK-47. AK-47 rifles are select-fire assault rifles that became the iconic weapons of communist forces throughout the Vietnam conflict. North Vietnamese Army regulars, Viet Cong guerrillas, and their allies favored these rifles for their legendary reliability and devastating effectiveness in Southeast Asian jungle conditions. This rifle fires the 7.62 by 39 mm cartridge that represented the Soviet Union's brilliant intermediate cartridge concept. Traditional military thinking had divided ammunition into powerful rifle rounds, effective at long range but heavy and difficult to control, versus weak pistol cartridges manageable in automatic fire, but lacking range and stopping power. Soviet designers created this intermediate cartridge that perfectly balanced power and controllability for modern warfare. The cartridge generates 2,350 feet per second from the rifle's 16.3-inch barrel, delivering over 1,500 foot-pounds of energy. The 7.6 2x39's heavier bullet punched through dense jungle vegetation, unlike smaller rounds such as 5.56 that often deflected. North Vietnamese and Viet Cong fighters typically carried 200 to 300 rounds of this ammo in their jungle combat loadouts, while Americans and their allies carried 100 to 200 more rounds of 5.56 due to lighter aluminum magazines and smaller bullets. The rifle weighed 8.8 pounds and fired at 600 rounds per minute, creating a perfect balance between controllability and firepower. As the war progressed, the AK-47 increasingly replaced the SKS in frontline units, with its shorter barrel providing better maneuverability in dense jungle, while its 30-round detachable magazine offered decisive advantages over the SKS's 10-round stripper clip system. The AK-47 operates through a long-stroke gas piston system that drives a massive bolt carrier group with loose tolerances designed for extreme reliability. The loose manufacturing tolerances did not hinder reliability when dirt, moisture, and vegetation debris invaded the action. The Soviet Union produced approximately 100 million AK variants throughout the Cold War, while China licensed the design as the Type 56 assault rifle and manufactured an estimated 15 million rifles. Remarkably, many of these weapons were produced in converted tractor factories and agricultural equipment plants, demonstrating the Soviet Union's massive industrial mobilization for military production. Despite greater weight and lower precision than Western assault rifles, the AK-47 gave communist forces incredibly reliable automatic weapons that functioned flawlessly in the harshest jungle conditions. The AK-47 design remains virtually unchanged in modern military forces worldwide, proving its enduring effectiveness. M14. M14 rifles are semi-automatic battle rifles that equipped American forces during Vietnam's early phases before lighter assault rifles proved more suitable for jungle warfare. U.S. Marines, Army infantry, and advisors turned to these powerful weapons when they needed maximum stopping power and long-range accuracy in Southeast Asian combat. This rifle fires the 7.62 NATO cartridge that delivered devastating terminal ballistics, equivalent to the famous 30-06 Springfield round. Military planners adopted this cartridge to provide NATO standardization while maintaining the full power performance that had proven effective in previous conflicts. The cartridge was designed for European warfare where long-range engagements were common, but Vietnam's dense jungle terrain made such power excessive for most combat situations. The 7.62 NATO generates 2,800 feet per second from the rifle's 22-inch barrel, delivering over 2,800 foot-pounds of energy, which was lethal at extreme ranges. This massive power could penetrate heavy cover and multiple enemies in formation. The rifle weighed 9.2 pounds, making it significantly heavier than later assault rifles, while its powerful cartridge created excessive muzzle blast and flash that revealed shooter positions to enemy forces. The M14 operates through a gas-operated rotating bolt system derived from the legendary M1 Garand's proven mechanism. The rifle fires at 750 rounds per minute in full automatic mode, but the powerful cartridge's recoil made this capability difficult to control in combat situations. Springfield Armory, Winchester, and Harrington and Richardson manufactured approximately 1.4 million M14 rifles between 1959 and 1964. Remarkably, some M14 rifles were later converted to civilian hunting rifles after military service, where their power and accuracy made them popular among big game hunters. Despite excessive weight and power for Southeast Asian warfare, the M14 provided American forces with devastating long-range accuracy and stopping power that proved valuable in specific tactical situations. The 7.62 NATO cartridge remains the standard for NATO sniper rifles and machine guns today. M60. M60 machine guns are general-purpose machine guns that became the iconic automatic weapons of American forces throughout the Vietnam conflict. U.S. infantry squads, helicopter crews, vehicle gunners, and fire-based defenders embraced these weapons when they needed sustained automatic firepower to dominate Vietnamese battlefields. This machine gun fires the same 7.62 NATO cartridge as the M14, delivering devastating long-range effectiveness and excellent penetration against enemy fortifications. The powerful cartridge was perfectly suited for machine gun applications, where sustained fire and barrier penetration were crucial. Unlike rifle applications where the cartridge proved excessive, machine guns benefited from its tremendous power for suppressive fire and area denial. The cartridge generates 2,800 feet per second from the weapon's 22-inch barrel, delivering over 2,800 foot-pounds of energy, which was lethal beyond 1,000 meters. This power allowed the M60 to penetrate enemy bunkers, concrete walls, and dense vegetation that would stop lighter cartridges. The gun weighs 23 pounds and fires at 550 rounds per minute, creating a balance between sustained fire capability and barrel life. However, its considerable weight limited infantry mobility during jungle patrols. The M60 operates through a gas-operated system with a rotating bolt mechanism and quick-change barrel capability for sustained fire missions. The weapon required careful maintenance of its gas system to prevent fouling in humid jungle conditions, but proved reliable when properly serviced. Saco Defense manufactured tens of thousands of M60 machine guns during the Vietnam era, with production continuing into the 1980s. Amazingly, the same company also manufactured textile machinery and precision tools, demonstrating how American manufacturers adapted civilian production capabilities for military needs. Despite considerable weight and high ammunition consumption, the M60 provided American forces with the sustained automatic firepower that dominated Vietnamese battlefields and became legendary among troops. The M60 design influence can be seen in modern NATO machine guns that still use similar operating principles today. RPD. RPD machine guns are light machine guns that provided North Vietnamese Army and Viet Cong forces with squad-level automatic firepower throughout the Vietnam conflict. Communist infantry squads utilized these weapons when they needed sustained fire support during major engagements and defensive operations against superior American firepower. This machine gun fires the 7.62 by 39mm cartridge, the same intermediate round used in AK-47s and SKS rifles. This cartridge choice provided excellent logistical advantages since communist forces could use the same ammunition across multiple weapon systems. The intermediate cartridge proved well suited for squad-level machine gun work because it balanced effectiveness with weight, allowing infantry squads to carry sufficient ammunition for sustained engagements. The cartridge generates 2,400 feet per second from the weapon's 20.5-inch barrel, delivering sufficient energy to penetrate light cover and vegetation. The gun weighs 16 pounds and fires at 650 rounds per minute, making it significantly lighter than Western machine guns, while providing comparable firepower for close-range combat. The RPD operates through a gas-operated system with a flapper-locked bolt mechanism that proved incredibly reliable under harsh jungle conditions. The weapon functioned perfectly despite humidity, mud, and debris that could disable more sophisticated firearms, requiring minimal maintenance under field conditions. Soviet and Warsaw Pact factories produced approximately 100,000 RPD machine guns during the Cold War. Incredibly, many RPD machine guns were manufactured in repurposed agricultural equipment factories, showing how communist nations transformed peaceful industries for military production during the Cold War. Despite shorter range compared to Western machine guns, the RPD gave communist forces reliable squad-level automatic fire that proved devastatingly effective in jungle warfare. RPD variants continue serving in military forces worldwide, demonstrating the enduring value of its simple, reliable design. M1 Carbine. M1 carbines are lightweight, semi-automatic weapons that bridge the gap between pistols and full-power rifles throughout the Vietnam conflict. South Vietnamese Army forces, U.S. support personnel, special operations troops, and officers adopted these carbines when they needed effective firepower without the weight penalty of battle rifles during extended jungle operations. This carbine fires the .30 carbine cartridge that represented a revolutionary concept in military small arms development during World War II. Traditional military doctrine had armed combat soldiers with powerful rifles and support troops with pistols. But the .30 carbine created an intermediate solution. The cartridge was essentially a high-powered pistol round that provided genuine combat effectiveness while remaining lightweight and controllable for support personnel who weren't professional infantrymen. The .30 carbine delivers nearly 1,000 foot-pounds of energy from the carbine's 18-inch barrel at 1,900 feet per second. This provided effectiveness against personnel out to 300 yards, while generating manageable recoil that allowed rapid, accurate follow-up shots. The weapon weighs just 5.2 pounds with a 15-round detachable magazine, making it incredibly easy to carry during extended operations. However, the cartridge's limited penetration against heavy clothing and light cover sometimes required multiple hits for decisive stopping power. The M1 carbine operates through David Marshall Williams' innovative short-stroke gas piston system that proved both reliable and easy to maintain under field conditions. The weapon required minimal maintenance compared to more complex military rifles, making it ideal for support troops with limited weapons training. Winchester, IBM, General Motors, and numerous other manufacturers produced over 6 million M1 carbines during World War II, with many surplus weapons finding their way to Southeast Asia through military aid programs. Fascinatingly, IBM, the computer company, manufactured more carbines than some traditional weapons manufacturers, demonstrating how American industry mobilized for wartime production across all sectors. Despite limited long-range effectiveness compared to battle rifles, the M1 carbine provided support personnel and specialized troops with genuine defensive capability that proved invaluable. The .30 carbine cartridge concept influenced modern personal defense weapon development that continues today. RPG-7. RPG-7 launchers are shoulder-fired rocket-propelled grenade launchers that became the iconic anti-armor weapons of communist forces throughout the Vietnam conflict. North Vietnamese army soldiers and Viet Cong fighters embraced these weapons when they needed to destroy American armored vehicles, helicopters, and fortified positions that rifle fire couldn't penetrate. This launcher fires the PG-7 rocket-propelled grenade that represented a revolutionary leap in portable anti-tank warfare. Traditional anti-tank weapons required large crews and heavy equipment. But the RPG-7 created a man-portable solution that individual soldiers could operate effectively. The RPG-7 grenade travels at over 900 feet per second and delivers devastating shaped charge explosive power, capable of penetrating over 12 inches of steel armor. The rocket's self-propelled design allowed effective engagement of targets up to 300 meters away, making American tanks and armored personnel carriers vulnerable to individual communist soldiers. However, the weapon's unguided flight path required skilled operators to compensate for target movement and environmental factors. The launcher weighs just 15 pounds loaded and can be quickly reloaded by a single operator in under 10 seconds. The RPG-7 proved devastatingly effective against American helicopters during landing operations, where its explosive warhead could destroy aircraft with a single hit. The RPG-7 operates through a simple recoilless launcher system that uses the rocket motor's exhaust to eliminate recoil forces. The weapon requires minimal training to operate effectively, allowing communist forces to quickly arm infantry units with genuine anti-armor capability. Soviet factories produced millions of RPG-7 launchers during the Cold War, while the simple design allowed production in basic machine shops worldwide. Remarkably, many RPG-7 launchers were manufactured in bicycle repair shops and small metalworking facilities, demonstrating how simple yet effective military technology could be mass-produced using minimal industrial infrastructure. Despite limited accuracy compared to guided missiles, the RPG-7 gave communist forces devastating anti-armor capability that neutralized American technological advantages in armored warfare. The RPG-7 design remains virtually unchanged in modern conflicts worldwide, proving its enduring effectiveness against armored targets. The weapons of the Vietnam War tell the story of a conflict that revolutionized modern infantry combat. From the lightweight firepower of American M16A1s to the legendary reliability of communist AK-47s, these weapons shaped a decade of jungle warfare and influenced military small arms development for generations. The war proved that adaptability, reliability, and soldier acceptance mattered more than having the most advanced technology on paper. Thanks for watching this deep dive into Vietnam War military weapons. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out our other videos for more military history content.